The following portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by AFI, your financial North Star.
All right, once again, we are live this morning here at AFI Advisors in Colonial Heights, asking your questions today to our experts. We are joined again by Peter Raber, of course, president of AFI, and now we have added Brian Brummett, the junior portfolio manager here. Great to have both of you with us.
Thank you.
Always fun.
Well, let's start by getting to some of our questions, because we've gotten a lot of questions in and some really good questions. And we're going to start with you, Peter, from Rebecca in Kingsport. She wants to know the difference between the Roth IRA and the traditional IRA, which I think you get a lot of questions on.
Right. That's something that we talk about a lot. And it has to do with when do we get our tax benefit. So your traditional IRA, which is very similar to what you would have at work through a 401k, 403b, the things that our company provided, is something that you can contribute to with money that you get a tax benefit this year and that you're not taxed. So you could put $6,000 per person in a traditional IRA, and then it grows tax-free over time. And then when you pull the money back out, that's when it's taxed.
So that might be an attractive alternative to someone.
So if you're trying to reduce your taxes this year, the traditional IRA is the most effective way of doing that of the two. A Roth, you pay taxes on that same $6,000 of income this year. But once it's in that Roth IRA, it grows tax-free, exact same. But when you pull the money back out, it's completely tax-free. So the idea being that if you can get the money into a Roth, it's much better in the end because you're pulling that money out in your retirement years tax-free. And so your traditional IRA, you're hoping that your tax rate is lower. Traditionally, it is when you retire because you lose that W-2 wage, but you're still going to be paying that out. So if you have $10,000 come out of your traditional IRA, and you're in the 10% bracket, you send $1,000 to the government. That same $10,000 coming out of the Roth in retirement is tax-free.
Ah, much better, it sounds like.
The Roth is better
yeah.
if you can do it, but if you have that year where you really need to get your income down because of other things, that could be the better route to go.
Circumstances. All right, Brian, we've got a question for you from Dylan in Kingsport. A lot of options when it comes to mutual funds. What are the most important things to look for when you're picking one?
That's a great question. Researching a mutual fund starts off like everything else we do, with a series of questions. Are we looking at a stock or a bond fund? What is it investing in? How does it differentiate itself from the other funds that are trying to do the same things? How is it performing? Not just how it's performed over the last year, or 5 years, or 10 years, but how it's performed during various times of economic growth or decline. Then I like to step back and call the management team that's responsible for the fund. We'll have a series of conversations, and through those conversations we determine if their investment philosophy matches those of AFI and those of our clients. And if it does, then we'll invest in them, but we continue to monitor them. We continue to have those conversations. Because ultimately we're trying to ask the question, will this help our clients reach their goals?
And of course, a lot has to do with relationships, which I know you guys specialize in. We are out of time. We have some other questions. You're going to join us in the studio Thursday.
Absolutely.
We will look forward to that. Thank you so much for hosting us today. Great to be here. If you have a question, again, you can always find them at their website. It is afiadvisors.com, or you can stop by their office here in Colonial Heights in Kingsport. We'll be right back.
The preceding portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by AFI, your financial North Star.